Hello, this is your girl, Davisha L. Johnson, and this is the first episode of Hemp and Agric in Ghana. So I welcome you all to the first episode. I am your host, Davisha L. Johnson. We are going to have our first episode today will be with the Coastal Development Authority, Honorable Obed Kwanzaa. We're going to wait for him to come in the studio. But before he gets here, I would like to welcome you all. This is the roundtable discussion with government and farmers from the second annual Ghana HempTech Conference that was this past month in July 9th, 10th, and 11th here in Accra. We had a 3-day conference on hemp and technology in Ghana. This is the second conference that we hosted here in Ghana. The first was in December of 2020. And we noticed that there's a disconnect between the farmers and the government. I've been watching local TV here in Ghana, and there's always some issue with farmers and their access to government officials. The discussion that needs to be had between the two entities is long overdue. So, as the talkative American that I am, I decided as a follow-up to the HempTech Conference, we would do roundtable discussions. So from this day forth, August 3rd, we will have every first Tuesday of the month, we will have a roundtable discussion. So we will have a government official, and then we'll be streaming live on YouTube and on Facebook. So if you go on Facebook to Co-op Executives, if you go to Facebook to AWIAA Global, or if you go to Facebook, to my personal Facebook page, Davisha L. Johnson, or if you go to YouTube, and you can see me on YouTube at Davisha L. Johnson, or at the Cooperative Executive Management Team YouTube channel, you'll be able to watch these streams live every first Tuesday of the month at 10 a.m. GMT, which is 6 a.m. Eastern Standard Time on the East Coast of the U.S., where I'm from. You can watch us. I want all of you to share this with all of your farmers anywhere in Ghana so that they can come on to YouTube. They can come on to Facebook. They can also text this number, which I will put at the screen down below. And you can ask your questions. So this morning, we're going to have our first guest, which is Honorable Obed Kwanzaa of the Coastal Development Authority. Obed was also sworn in as our global board member for AWIAA, which is the African Women in Agriculture Alliance, an NGO that I created just for women of African descent here in Ghana. It is registered in the United States as well as here in Ghana and West Africa. So while we wait for Mr. Obed, I'm going to give an opportunity for people to come online, ask your questions. If you're on Facebook, you can comment down below. If you're on YouTube, you can comment down below as well on any questions. You can text your questions to +233-050-868-6616. I will scroll that at the bottom of your screen. If you are not on YouTube, if you know someone that needs to ask questions and they don't have YouTube or they don't have Facebook, you can send them here. The text message number is at the bottom. You can text this number on WhatsApp, and you can also text this number on SMS. Ask your questions of the Coastal Development Authority. So this is the first episode of Hemp and Agric. We're going to try and get our first guest on. I think he's having connectivity issues. This is Ghana, so we're going to wait for him as long as it takes him to get here. But I want to give an opportunity for people to ask questions. Hey, Tanya. Hello, ma'am. We have a message here from Tanya Hicks, my African-American female rock star in the United States that is into all types of things internationally, from construction to things that are blowing up all over the world. So Tanya, thank you for joining us this morning. And we're going to get more questions coming in from YouTube, more questions coming in from Facebook. I have some questions of my own. I've been watching locally here on the news the other day with the Fisheries and Aquaculture Development Department that there's an issue with the local fishermen. Apparently there are some illegal fishing practices going on because they're using small nets. They need to survive. They need to feed their families. So there was the Aquaculture and Fisheries Development Authority was on the news the other day about not providing fuel for these fishermen to be able to go out into the ocean and be able to fish. So they're like, look, if you don't want us fishing with small nets, then don't sell them. That's what one of the commenters said. So these are the types of conversations that we want to have with our government officials outside of the mainstream media. This is not, I don't have 2.5 million Twitter followers or Instagram followers. So this is a very intimate conversation that we want to have with our elected officials and with the farmers here in Ghana. So whether you are a pig farmer, poultry farmer, crop farmer, fish farmer, if you grow anything or breed anything and you have any issues in Ghana, this is the show for you. So we're going to come on every first Tuesday at 10 a.m. GMT, and that is 6 a.m. Eastern Standard Time. So thank you for all my American friends that are tuning in from the other side of the Atlantic. I know it's 6 o'clock in the morning there, and I know most of you rock stars are already up working. So let's call Mr. Kwanzaa and see if we can get him on the line. And then we will find out if his connectivity issues are remedied or if he just needs to have a call. However we get these people, these government people on the phone or on this live stream, we will do so. Hello, good morning, Mr. Obed.
Hey, good morning, Davisha. I'm online waiting for the link.
Okay, so I text you the link via text message, SMS.
Oh, okay. All right, then let me check it right now.
Okay, thank you. See, he's coming. So when Mr. Kwanzaa gets here, I will go over his bio. I will go over his bio now so that you can have an idea of who we are going to be talking to. And then we will get him on the line. And then you guys can have a conversation. So like I said, I have questions of my own. I am your host of this very first episode of the Hemp and Agric in Ghana Roundtable Discussions with Government and Farmers. Today is August 3rd. This is your host, Davisha L. Johnson. I'm also the president of the Cooperative Executive Management Team. I think Mr. Kwanzaa is coming in now, but I'm also the president of the Cooperative Executive Management Team. Oh, Tanya Hicks says she does agriculture too. Thank you, ma'am. Like I said, Tanya does everything. There's a dynamic team or dynamic group of Black women around the world that are doing amazing things, which is another reason why I started the African Women in Agriculture Alliance, which is also another sponsor of this show. So it's the Cooperative Executive Management Team and AWIAA Global. So you can tune in live on Facebook for at any of those pages. So you go to AWIAA, AWIAA Global. Hello, Torio. Good morning. Torio is another dynamic woman from the GABA Girls, the Global African Business Association. So thank you for joining at 6 a.m. from the U.S. So we're going to get some more people to come on. We just called Mr. Obed. He is coming back here into the studio in a second. So I will read to you his bio so we can know who we're talking to, why it's important that we talk to him. I decided to start the conversation light with our first episode and make sure that we get enough information or enough of a conversation going, where as we continue throughout the months over the next part of this year, we will have deeper conversations. So we'll rotate between agriculture and hemp. We don't want to make this all about hemp since we just did the HempTech Conference. There's lots to download from there, but we wanted to make sure that we have an all-encompassing, holistic conversation with farmers here in Ghana and their government officials. So our first guest today is going to be AWIAA, newly sworn in AWIAA Global Board member, Mr. Kwanzaa, or Mr. Obed Kwanzaa. He is the regional director of the Coastal Development Authority of the Central Region of Ghana. He leads in the implementation. Let me see if this is him coming in. Yes, this is him coming in. And here he is. Hello, good morning, Mr. Obed. How are you?
Good morning. Good morning, Devisha. I'm well. How are you too?
I'm good. Thank you for coming on this show. I'm so excited.
Thank you. Thank you. It's been a while since we met.
Yes. And I look forward to this conversation that we're going to have.
Sure.
I think I have a lag, so I'm going to slow down. Okay. So I was just about to introduce you and give our viewers opportunity to hear about what you do in the Coastal Development Authority, but I'm going to go ahead and finish reading your bio and then we'll start the conversation. How's that?
Okay, that's okay. You can go ahead.
Okay. So our first guest today is Mr. Obed Kwanzaa. He's the Regional Director of the Coastal Development Authority of the Central Region of Ghana. He leads in the implementation of infrastructure for poverty eradication projects within the Central Region. He helps to implement gender-sensitive and disability-friendly projects in the Central Region, liaises with key stakeholders for the economic and social development of the region. He has a Master's of Arts degree in Development Management from the University of Cape Coast and focused on gender issues in development management, development finance, project implementation, monitoring and evaluation, strategic leadership and communication skills, strategic development, project planning, statistics and planning techniques, lots going on, and advanced research methods. He has a Bachelor of Education in Arts, English, Religion, and Human Values from the University of Cape Coast, focusing on conflict resolution, guidance and counseling, communication skills, education, psychology, research methods, statistics, and business English. So I would like to welcome Mr. Obed Kwanzaa to the Hemp and Agric in Ghana first episode. Thank you, sir, for joining us.
Thank you, Devisha, and I thank you for this opportunity to join this meeting, at least for being the first guest to speak on this very important topic. I'm so proud and glad to be here.
Thank you. So let's get right into the conversation. This is a 1-hour show, so it will be very light. I just want to make sure on our first episode that we get an opportunity to have people know that we're here, know that we are going to start having these conversations. You work for a governmental agency here in Ghana, which is important because the farmers that are actually on the ground need to be able to talk to you. And it's hard sometimes for discussions to happen between people that don't really understand politics and governments, and then government and politicians having so many things to do and so many issues to tackle. It's hard to get that one-on-one connection with your constituents. So I wanted to be the go-between in between the farmers that I'll be working with through AWIAA and through the Cooperative Executive Management Team and all of my personal contacts and future relationships with government officials. So that's the premise of the show. We're not going to be drilling down and making you answer questions that you can't possibly answer. We're not going to do that to you. We're going to have a very generalized, light conversation so that we can get into the groove of what the show will look like. Is that okay? I think he froze. So we're going to wait a second for him to come back because this is Ghana and it's live. It's a live stream with the first episode of Hemp and Agric in Ghana with Obed Kwanzaa. I think his screen has frozen, so we'll give him a chance to come back. There he is. So, Mr. Obed, can you tell us a little bit about yourself, how long you've been with the Coastal Development Authority, I read your bio. Give us an idea of what the Coastal Development Authority does, and then we'll start asking some questions. We're going to give him a second to come back and see if the internet connectivity, and hopefully I'm not lagging as well, but we are going to fix all of these things if necessary.
Sorry, Kindly forgive me. The network sometimes keeps interrupting. Kindly forgive me.
I understand. So if you can tell us about the Coastal Development Authority, what exactly it is that the Coastal Development Authority does and what it is that you do.
Okay. Thank you very much, Devisha, once again for this opportunity. And greetings to everybody who is watching and listening to this first episode. We are most grateful for this opportunity. Okay, so the Coastal Development Authority, simply put, CODA, is a government agency established by an Act of Parliament, Act 961 of the Republic of Ghana's Parliament. And what the authority is established to do is to help, among others, to implement projects. And we have a vehicle that we call an IPEP vehicle. IPEP means Infrastructure for Poverty Eradication Program. This is basically the tool that we use in implementing our projects. It means that whatever project we implement, the idea behind the project is to help bring on board infrastructure that would help in the eradication of poverty. So, like you rightly said, CODA is in to help implement projects that will help to eradicate poverty. CODA is in to help implement projects that will help bridge the gap between the rich and the poor. CODA is here. When I say CODA is here, I want to say CODA has been established by governments. In fact, CODA was established in the year 2017. So the authority is 4 years now. And it was established by the current government of Ghana, His Excellency Nana Addo Dankwa Akufo-Addo, as a tool for implementing projects that would be used in eradicating poverty. All right. So we see to it that our projects are gender sensitive. When we say our project should be gender sensitive, what we intend or what we do is that we implement projects that would, at the end of the day, benefit both men and women. We don't want to implement projects that at the end of the day, only one group of people are going to benefit from it. So, for example, market centers. I can name just a few of them. If you come to Cape Coast, there's a popular market center here known as the Anafo Market. This is an ancient market established in the 1980s. And it is actually the first market to be established in Cape Coast. This project is being constructed to help the women in Cape Coast, especially, have a befitting, a nice, and a wonderful place to sell their products. As part of our market designs, we try as much as possible to bring in crèche, such that when the women go to the market to sell their products, not just the women, both the women and the men, but I'm concentrating much on the women because before we started with the project, those who were selling at Anafo were basically 98% women. We only had just about 2% men. That is why my concentration lies on the women. It's the fact that we add crèche to the market design so that when a mother takes the child to the market center to sell, the mother can as well have a place to let a child school.
Oh.
Yes. So with that in mind, with that in mind, as a mother, at least your child is somehow closer to you. Right after school, just a walking distance. You walk to the school to pick the child back home. So when I talk about gender sensitive project, this is what I meant to say. Our project, CODA, is established to implement disability-friendly projects. When I say disability-friendly projects, most of our chip compound, when I say the chip compound, I mean the lesser version of clinics here in Ghana. Most of our clinics, so to speak, that we establish, we try to put in facilities that would aid our brothers and sisters with some form of disability challenges, so that in one way or the other, they can also have access to our projects. Remember, there are a couple of projects that are established by some government agencies that do not really take into consideration people with disability. So we try as much as possible to inculcate them into our planning process, so that at the end of the day, they will equally have the opportunity to benefit from our projects. And of course, we try as much as possible to offer some form of support. So we're trying to establish what we call the CODA Credit Union. CODA Credit Union is a new activity that we intend to implement. We haven't started with that yet. We have plan of starting with a pilot project on the 1st of August this very year. And what the credit union seeks to do is to support, first of all, petty farmers, petty traders, fishmongers, fishermen, and taxi drivers. So these are the 5 categories of people that I've mentioned. Petty farmers or subsistence farmers, fishmongers, taxi drivers, fishermen, and petty traders. The idea behind CODA Credit Union is to establish a system where individuals can save little by little with the authority. And as they save little by little with the authority, they stand the chance of getting financial assistance from the authority. So way back last year, around November, December, my staff in the region, as well as the staff in the other part of Ghana, I am speaking for Central Region because I'm in charge of Central Region.
Right.
My staff in the region were assigned to move to the market centers, to move to the coastal lines, to move to the taxi ranks, and to meet women who are into subsistence farming, to get them registered on board on our CODA Credit Union, so that whilst they save, they stand a chance of benefiting some form of support from us.
Right.
So when we went there to register them, people were asked to pay 20 Ghana cedis to commence the savings culture with us.
Right.
So that money that they paid serves as the platform, exactly, the deposit for them to commence with the savings. So we can equally support them. Because it's a new venture that we're trying to bring on board. We need to pilot this to see as to whether it is actually going to help or not. And we need to really get all the necessary documentations to get it moving. So we've met with the Credit Union Association of Ghana, we've met with Bank of Ghana, we've met with all key financial stakeholders that we're supposed to interact with them as far as the credit union is concerned. We've done that. And we are hoping to start a pilot project from the 1st of August. We actually intended starting from July, but it didn't happen. So at our management meeting held just yesterday, we have made up our mind to start with a pilot project from the 1st of August, if all things are equal. You have to start from the 1st of August to see how feasible this project is going to be, and to see how governments can, on behalf of Coastal Development Authority, assist these petty groups that I have mentioned. So virtually, this and many more are the things that we do it. And of course, as a government agency, we try as much as possible to liaise with other state-owned organizations, that is the CSOs. We try as much as possible to liaise with them so that we can have a fruitful working relationship, and of course, to help in the agenda of the eradication of poverty. So I think this is what I have to say for now, Devisha. Thank you.
Thank you. I appreciate that. I have so many questions. So I want to just jump right in. I want to thank you for giving us a breakdown of what the Coastal Development Authority does and what projects you're currently working on. If you're just tuning in, this is the very first episode of Hemp and Agric in Ghana. This is our very first guest, Honorable Obed Kwanzaa, the Regional Director of the Coastal Development Authority. If you have questions, please like, share, and follow us on YouTube. Please go on Facebook on AWIAA Global or the Cooperative Executive Management Team, or live on YouTube, and ask your questions. You can also text the number that's at the bottom of the screen if you have any questions as well. We'll be receiving text message questions. You can also, like I said, go on our live stream and answer your questions. They will come up on the screen as they come in. So my questions are many, but we only have about 30 minutes left in our show. So I want to get to the women because I'm a woman. So you are also, Mr. Obed, the newly sworn in member of AWIAA Global, the African Women Agriculture Alliance. So I'm also the president of AWIAA. And Mr. Obed, obviously from everyone listening to your explanation about eradicating poverty, 98% of the women that are going to the market are not 98% of the people that are going to sell in the market are women. We already know that. There's a large population of women that are actually on the farm doing the work. So I want to focus on them, but I want to focus on some things that people don't really take into consideration. So being American, when we have children in America, we usually don't take them to work as you see here in Ghana. So everywhere that you see in Ghana, there's a baby on somebody's back because that's most likely her baby, and she's taking her baby to work. I noticed you mentioned earlier in the conversation about there being schooling opportunities for women who take their children to the market. Can you explain a little bit more about what that looks like, how women sign up for that? What does the school look like? Is it a centralized facility like a daycare where the women just drop off their children early in the morning and come back and get them? How does this program work?
All right, so this system is attached to the design of our market facilities. So the market is designed in such a way that we attach a nursery, a crèche, a daycare center, if I'm not putting words together or intertwining with words, a daycare center, so that as the women go to the markets, as the women and men, let me gender sensitive here, as the women and men, as the women and men go to the market to sell, I am concentrating much on the women because, of course, their population as against the men in the market centers. Yeah. So as the women and men go to the market to sell their products, they would have a daycare center to drop off the child, right? To drop off the child to school, so that right after closure of the school, the mother or the parents of that child can go and pick the baby back home. You know, this is a little bit different from the traditional system where most people had to carry their babies to the markets. You understand? So while selling, you have them have their babies wrapped behind them, crying, disturbing, and of course, actually not gaining anything at the end of the day by the baby. So these babies have the chance to learn. So this is how we designed our market centers.
This is This is amazing. This is something that should be implemented, I think, not just in the agriculture sector or the petty trading or the market, but in all sectors for women to have an opportunity. And not just the women, to your point, the children. The children
Exactly.
are getting now through the Coastal Development Authority's program an opportunity to learn. And then it's a lot less stressful when you have to worry about your baby sleeping and feeding them and all these things while you're working. So I commend the Coastal Development Authority for adding this to the design of your market center. I think it is very much needed. So my next question is about the savings account. So along with women having money or women having babies and taking them to the market, a lot of our farmers need capital. A lot of times I hear when I talk to people about the hemp industry that yes, we need money to facilitate growing hemp. But in agriculture in general here in Ghana, there's capital needed from many farmers. So I have a small garden at my house and I live in Oyibi. So sometimes there's no water. So that rings true for farmers that have 1 acre or farmers that have 100 acres. If it doesn't rain, then there's an opportunity for crop loss. So this savings program or this credit union that you have come up with for the Coastal Development Authority, is there an opportunity for through the credit union for farm insurance, for crop loss? Is there opportunities for you said there's opportunities for financial assistance after they have opened their savings account, giving a 20 Ghana CD deposit? I know this is a pilot program that you're starting this month, but how can you further explain, maybe if you can tell us what the financial assistance may look like? How long do they have to have an account or be in the program to get financial assistance? And is there going to be some type of risk mitigation when farmers have crop loss or they're having issues on their farm?
Okay. Thank you very much, Devisha. I think I need to give credit to the Chief Executive Officer of the Coastal Development Authority in the person of lawyer Jerry Shaib Ahmed, who spearheads the authority in the entire nation. There's no insurance package, so to speak, for farmers as far as this project is concerned. Secondly, this is not a private project. It is a government project because the Coastal Development Authority is a government organization.
Mm-hmm.
What I want us to have in mind is that the system of credit union operates on savings.
Mm-hmm.
So you save, you keep saving the little that you have. Mm-hmm. And out of your savings, you get support, financial support for whatever activity that you are undertaking. So when I spoke about a credit union, I said we have 5 target groups of individuals. We're looking at farmers. We're looking at farmers. We're looking at both fishermen and fishmongers. Fishermen to a larger extent, the men who go on the sea for fishing, and the fishmongers to a larger extent here are the women who smoke the fish for selling.
Right.
Good. Then we're looking at taxi drivers. And of course, we're looking at petty traders in general. So let me concentrate on the farmers because as a board member for AWIAA, my interest has to be here as well, you know. Right. Yeah.
Right.
So farmers have the chance of saving with authority and benefiting from this package. But the system is such that you save, then you benefit from it. You get support. You get support from the savings.
Yes.
So, like I said earlier, we intend to pilot the project from August. That is the directive from the Chief Executive Officer to pilot the project from August to see how feasible it's going to be. Then from there, of course, right after the pilot project, we can get to understand it better and know how to really go about with it very well.
Right.
Thank you.
So thank you for the explanation. So we'll be looking forward to following up on the pilot program. There is an organization I'm a part of in the US called NAHEB, the National Association of Hebrews, that is also opening a credit union. And we also had to go through the National Credit Union Association. So I fully understand the process.
Oh, sorry to cut you short. Is it the one spearheaded by Rabbi?
No, this is in the US.
Oh, okay.
But it's the same type of process. There's a National Credit Union Association that you have to go through to get accreditation and do all these things. So I understand that it is a process, and this is going to be a pilot program. So we'll be following up with you to see how that's going and to see how we can get our viewers into the credit union when it started. So we have about 20 minutes left. So I want to kind of get into some more localized per your region conversation. So I was watching the news the other day, and because I just moved here, I'm not fully aware of all the things in agriculture and how they work. So I have a question about the fisheries or the fishermen. So on the news, I saw that there's illegal fishing going on in the coastal region because of the net sizes. So I was kind of confused when I first saw the story, because they were saying the farmers' issue was that they obviously need to go on the ocean and fish. This is what they do. This is how they survive. But there's a difference between the large fishermen with the huge nets and how much capacity they can have, and then you have the smaller fishermen with the smaller nets. But there was one particular man that said something about, if you don't want us to fish with small nets, then stop selling them. So can you kind of just explain for people like me that have no idea what's going on, what is going on between the large scale fishermen and the smaller fishermen in Ghana, and why is there not resources available, or at least the farmers are saying that there are not enough resources available for the small fishermen to be able to go out in the ocean and fish? Is it a safety issue? Is it an economic issue? Kind of break down for us what's going on, if you can.
All right. Thank you. I don't intend digesting this topic to the latter, because that is actually not my area, but I'll try my possible best to speak on the topic.
Okay.
Yeah, so exactly a month ago, the Minister of Fisheries directed that all fishermen cease fishing. So we had what we call closed season. Closed season. And the closed season was first implemented in last year. What the idea behind a closed season is to have a 1 month period, a 1 month break, where fishermen won't go on fishing, so that the fingerlings so that the fingerlings can grow to a certain level that we can have access to bounty fishing at the end of the day.
Okay.
So that is the idea behind the closed season.
Okay.
It was first implemented in last year. It was very successful. So this year too, the ministry did the same thing. So what we heard about Elmina is of course one of the coastal constituencies in the central region.
Right.
The news we heard was that in Elmina, first of all, during the closed season, when the government gave directives that no fisherman should go on fishing, it is alleged, I am using my words carefully because it is under investigation, it is alleged that during the closed season, some of them went on fishing.
Obviously, right.
Good. So when all other sea were opened, when all other sea were opened, Elmina in particular, theirs is still closed. Because first of all, they were stubborn.
Uh-huh.
They didn't keep to the regulations as was directed by the Minister of Fisheries in the person of Honorable Mrs. Hawa Kumsin. The directives were not well taken and was not well responded to. That is why, first of all, they've closed theirs. And the other problem that they have is that there's what we call patrolling. Patrolling and light fishing. Also, I don't intend digesting to the latter, but of course, I will try to explain it. These are fishing
You're
methods.
doing very well, by the way. You're doing very well. I'm following. Go ahead.
Thank you. These are fishing methods that, according to the experts in the fisheries industry, does not really help with the safety of the fishing occupation. The light fishing, I'm told, is a situation where they use light in capturing the fish. So it is, let me explain it in a very simple way. They go on the sea, they put the light on a particular area, and because the fish would run to the light, they end up getting almost every fish around, including the little fingerlings. You get it? Including the little fingerlings. So at the end of the day, when they come back home, they just pick up the big ones that they want. And I am told they just dispose of the small fingerlings. You see? So some time back, somebody came up with a video where some fishermen had placed some huge fingerlings which were dead at a particular place. And Devisha, you know, this is not good. First of all, for the safety of the fishing industry and for the economy of the nation.
And the environment.
This is one other thing that the Ministry of Fisheries is equally fighting against. So these are some of the reasons why Elmina is still on hold. That they are not going on fishing.
That answers a lot of my questions. And let's stay on this topic for a second so I can further break this down from a farmer's perspective. So this concept of a closed season makes 100% sense to me. That is not a question, because you need time for fingerlings to grow. That's amazing. It makes sense. However, realistically, when you look at the difference between Takoradi or Tema and Elmina, we all know that there's not too much out there in Cape Coast in the first place. So the small scale fisherman that needs to fish, it seems to me that this issue is solvable, right? So if we know that we need fingerlings in order to grow, in order to fish, in order to feed ourselves, then let's take a step backwards and go back to the fingerling part. So it sounds to me like one of the solutions can possibly be that we obviously need to breed more fingerlings in maybe detention ponds or fish farms outside of the ocean, number one. So maybe there needs to be a mechanism set up where if there is going to be, and maybe this is not a governmental thing, maybe this is just, I'm speaking to all my small scale fishermen that are going to have to go through closed season. This is the pre-planning to the closed season. So if you're going to go out in the ocean during open season and you're going to do light fishing or you're going to do patrolling, which is obviously what they're doing already, and you catch these fingerlings, instead of disposing of them, there should be some place in your village, in your community, where you can take these fingerlings, put them in one pond. So now that you've all gone out to the ocean and fished, and you collect the big fish and the little fish, You put the fingerlings in a pond, let them grow. So now you don't have to go out during closed season because you already have a place that you've not disposed of the fingerlings, but you've put in a space where they can grow. So now you will have fish during closed season. I think that's an opportunity for a community-based discussion with people in Elmina about how to get this done, because people need to eat. And from the news article that I saw a couple of days ago, that's really the only concern, is that people need to eat. So if it's closed season, they need to fish. But to your point and the explanation that you just given, it's counterproductive. So you want to fish, but you can't fish because there's no fish left in the ocean because you didn't allow them a chance to grow. So if there's no if there's no large fish, then you can't eat anyways, which is why the government implemented closed season. So I think the farmers, I think your explanation gives me further discussion on community-based discussion that needs to probably happen in Alameda. And maybe that's a later episode that we come back to and get some fishermen from Elmina to start talking to some community stakeholders about creating these ponds that are outside. And obviously this is going to take capital. So maybe that is also an integration of the credit union. So as the credit union starts up and the fishermen start putting in 20 CDs here, 20 CDs here, by the end of the month or whenever closed season occurs, you can have a couple thousand CDs to go dig a hole somewhere, line it, put the fingerlings in. I think this is a very solvable problem. I would like to hear from some farmers on what they think. So we'll take questions and suggestions on that after the show, and then we'll do some follow-up. So the last thing that I want to talk about, we got about 5-6 minutes left. So the last thing I want to talk about is the benefits of men. So yes, I'm a woman. Yes, you are the global board member for AWIAA, which is the African Women in Agriculture Alliance. But let's talk about the men, and let's end it with that. So I have a question in general about the men that are going out and doing fish farming, doing petty trading, doing a lot of these agriculture-based jobs that I don't really see a lot of men doing. So can you give us some insight on the supports that the Coastal Development Authority may be providing for men? I know you do gender sensitive, you do men and women. So what are some things outside of the normal traditional woman's role that you have supportive structures for men with the Coastal Development Authority?
All right. Thank you, Devisha. And I must commend you for your suggestion on as to how to handle the fingerless. You are the real gem. You are the gem. You are the best.
Thank you.
Absolutely, it makes a lot of sense. You get my point. It makes a lot of sense, absolutely. Because if these fingerlings would be destroyed, it is better having a fishing community to rear them, for them to equally grow, like an aquaculture.
Exactly.
Right?
Exactly.
Yeah, like an aquaculture. So that's very good. Unfortunately, I got the latter part of your last question.
Oh, okay. So I
that's
to know,
the internet is messing me up.
Okay, so I just wanted to know, the Coastal Development Authority does gender sensitive programming. So we've talked a lot about women. So I wanted to know if there's anything that you can share, not specific to men, but something outside of the normal traditional woman's role in agriculture that the Coastal Development Authority may provide for men.
So as I said, the key tool that we use in the implementation of our project is what we call IPEP. That is the Infrastructure for Poverty Eradication Program, IPEP. So we use infrastructure in helping to reduce poverty. So we go into schools, projects like schools. We go into projects like clinics. We go into projects like AstroTurf, a place where people can have access to play. We go into projects like renovation of town halls, of course, the usual markets that I spoke about. We don't construct road, but in certain areas, we try to reshape. But Devisha, I forgot to speak about this. Whatever the authority does, we have two approaches in implementing our projects. We have what we call the bottom-up approach and the top-down approach. So the bottom-up approach is where those at the local levels, that is the communities, the opinion leaders, the assembly members, the district chief executive, the members of parliament, and those who matter at the local levels are contacted to come out with their developmental needs and challenges. So we do what we call needs assessments. Yeah, please come. Needs assessment. So when we do the needs assessment, yeah, thank you. The needs assessments help us to identify the various needs of the various communities.
Right.
So to speak, so that we don't end up implementing projects that they are not really in need of them. A community might need a clinic. Other community might need a place of convenience. Other community might also need a place of convenience. So if we do the needs assessments and we get to understand the peculiar need of the community, that is what we implement their projects for them. Right. So it is not as if we sit at a center and implement whatever we think we want to do for them. No. Whatever we do is as a result of the needs assessment that we conduct to come out to the various needs of the communities. Right. And we have the top-down approach. That is where we have central projects like the sanitation for all. So the sanitation for all, we try as much as possible to get some place of convenience, so to speak, toilet facilities. Toilet facilities across board. We try as much as possible to get like mechanized boreholes across board. So such projects, it is distributed across board so that whether you are in need of it or not, if you have more, we add up to what you have. If you don't have, we give you that access. Then, of course, the bottom up where the individuals or the community come out with what they need. So this is why the gender issues come in, so that we don't end up implementing projects that would benefit one
over the other
gender group or the other.
Yeah. Well, thank you so much. This has been our show. I'm super excited that we had an opportunity to talk to each other. We had plenty of people come on Facebook and on YouTube and ask questions. They were on the screen. Mr. Obed Kwanzaa from the Coastal Development Authority, I want to thank you for being our very first guest on Hemp and Agric in Ghana. I look forward to following up with you on this conversation. If I need to come to Elmina and come get some of that great shrimp that they're fishing out there, then I will do that as well. And I look forward to following up on all the programs, the credit union in particular, so that we can get some of these things implemented for our farmers. I'm sure after this show, there'll be plenty of questions that come in. So I'll revert back to you so that we can have a follow-up conversation. I really enjoyed you this morning. I really appreciate you for coming on the very first episode of Hemp and Agric in Ghana. Thank you, sir.
Thank you, Devisha. People were asking on the hemp. It looks like they didn't get the opportunity to join the conference that we had in Accra. So they want to have a little bit of information. I just want to sum up everything and say that since the government has at least has given the legal powers for people to cultivate hemp, we just want the public to know that it's a great area to go into it, because the last time when I came for the conference in Accra, I realized that Devisha, it's a very fantastic thing to do. There's a lot of money, proper money. You understand? Yeah, as one of the presenters said, proper money. So those who are interested, they can join our discussions on hemp, and they will get a better understanding of how to go about with it. Yeah.
Absolutely. Well, thank you, Mr. Obed Kwanzaa. I will be calling you for follow-up, and I appreciate you coming on our first episode. Thank you, sir.
Thank you very much, Devisha. Have a nice day.
All right, you too. Bye-bye. Bye. So that was our very first guest of our very first episode of Hemp and Agric in Ghana. This has been your host, Devisha L. Johnson. We started at 3 minutes after 10, and it's now 1 minute after 11. This is a 1-hour show that will happen every first Tuesday of the month. We will have a government agency come and talk to our farmers. So if you did not get a chance to come on live, you can watch this on YouTube on Devisha L. Johnson, or you can watch it on the Cooperative Executive Management Team YouTube channel. So please make sure you like, subscribe, and share. Or you can watch it on Facebook at Devisha L. Johnson, Facebook page, AWIAA, which is AWIAA Global Facebook page, or the Cooperative Executive Management Team Facebook page. And you can text your questions to 050-868-6616, which is on WhatsApp and on SMS. I'm not sure if you got that, but there was a lag, but you can text your questions even after this show. So if you have questions based on this show, you're watching this 6 months from now, and you want to know what follow-up was done, text me, and you can go on our Facebook link at any time and make your comments and questions. We will follow up. So I want to thank everybody for coming on our first show of Hemp and Agric in Ghana. This is your host, Devisha L. Johnson, president of the Cooperative Executive Management Team and founder and chairwoman of the African Women in Agriculture Alliance. All of you all have a good day, and make sure you go grow something. Bye.